time, Frederick. Really appreciate your insights. That was Frederick Mitchell, Chief Economist at Aluma. Now, shifting focus in a bid to resuscitate exploration activity in the mining industry, government has opened its Junior Mining Exploration Fund to the tune of 240 million rand to assist junior miners in the gold and copper market. This, as the pace of discoveries in these industries is struggling to keep up with global demand for these commodities. Further to this, chrome exports will be under export control by the International Trade Administration Commission of SA to clamp down on illicit trade of the critical mineral. Mzila Mthenjane, CEO of the Minerals Council SA, joined us to dig through these developments and what they suggest for the sector moving forward.
So there has been an unfortunate decline in exploration expenditure in South Africa, and in fact in the rest of the continent, where currently South Africa is sharing less than 1% of global exploration, which is certainly not enough in order to be able to continue to grow South Africa's mining industry, especially an industry where we are so well endowed with a diversity of minerals. Now, the reasons for that, I think, is a number of factors, both of which are within our control as South Africa, but some of which are outside of our control. But one of the key areas that we've been working on, and in some instances we've been working with the DMPR in this regard, is really looking at how we can change policy to be more welcoming of capital. And so with the establishment of this 400 million rand fund, it is certainly very welcome. It is a very pragmatic and strategic response by government, given the challenge of lack of private sector investment in this area. And with exploration really being the first phase of future mines, it is very risky, like starting a new business. And so this is really a good indication on the part of government of its confidence in the mining industry and its prospects for growth.
Yeah, indeed, very capital intensive. But I mean, just looking at the backdrop now of, commodities and especially critical minerals, would you say that the current macroeconomic backdrop is supportive of exploration, and particularly in commodities such as gold and copper?
Well, mining is an essential part of life, if I can put it there, alongside agriculture. And we often say what you don't grow, you have to mine it. And so I think under any circumstances, mining is really necessary. There are obviously market opportunities that we must take advantage of. And I think currently with the talk of critical minerals, it is absolutely the right time to be looking at exploration opportunities. What I must say as well is that South Africa sits in a very fortunate position where a lot of the commodities that it has been mining are already in the list of critical minerals of many other countries. And so the demand for these commodities will increase. But when you also look at South Africa's own critical minerals list, there's also good prospects for some of the new commodities. So it also speaks to exploration. And so we can see a very long period of time of mining in South Africa. It's really about making sure that we get the right things in place, because we are competing for capital against many other countries, both surrounding us on the continent, but also outside of that. And so we have to make sure that we put in the best conditions to be able to attract both exploration, investment, but I think more importantly, the big money flows when you convert that prospect into a new mine. And that's where we really need to make sure that we convey the best message in terms of confidence in the country, the appropriate legislative environment, safety and security, as well as other incentives that will encourage investors to invest in the country.
I do understand that the Junior Mining Exploration Fund was launched in 2023. Just talk to me about, its reception, what has been able to do so far. I do understand that the second window was just opened last week, and really, if its targets are sufficient to significantly move the needle.
Yeah, so it was positively received. I mean, whilst one may say that 400 million rands is not a lot of money, but I think it was a start to be able to test the appetite. And to show you how welcome it was, I think the applications that they received were probably, I think, in the order of 10, if not 20 times that. So in the billions of rands, so 4 billion, maybe even higher. For projects, ranging from anything that would need 50 million rands to be able to do a desktop study to a project which actually needs holes in the ground. But we should also mention that there were also some chance takers in that. And so with the first window having successfully been deployed, I think it's great that we're seeing the second window being opened. And also that comes with an expansion of the minerals that can be explored, and so going deeper into the critical minerals list. And that means that more of the country, especially in territories like Northern Cape, Limpopo, will begin to see a lot more exploration activity. And this should raise hope for prospects for new mines, and this is going to have downstream impact on the rest of the economy, which we want to grow well above the current 1.5%.
I'm also just wondering because, we're talking about junior miners here. How far then does the fund go in supporting those miners? Is it just funding, or is there also technical support there to ensure that the funds are used productively?
No, there's a combination of funding for the actual technical work, but also some mentorship and support for the managers and the owners of those businesses. And this is a model that we're seeing all around the world, and we'll be exploring more of these opportunities. That the funding doesn't end there, but I think it also provides some mentorship to ensure success for these prospects.
All right. Just before we wrap up the conversation, Mzila, of course, now I was reading a news story about, chrome exports being under export control to really clamp down on illicit trade on the critical minerals. What exactly does this mean for the industry, and how closely are you watching that illicit trade landscape?
So we have seen the announcement, and we have received the invitation for comment from DTRC on this issue, and it's really around the permitting of exports. I think there is a concern that, I think a number of about 10% of South Africa's chrome exports are exported illegally. And to the extent that this is the aim of this permitting process, I think that is good, because I think 10% of an industry last year which generated about between 60 and 80 billion rands of exports. We're talking about 6 to 8 billion rands of revenue that did not flow or benefit the fiscus. That's a positive and certainly welcome. So we are watching this space, and we will be working with our members to provide comments on that permitting process. I think one of the other issues I should mention is that I think it's a process that should not prejudice legal and legitimate exporters. And it should really be as efficient as possible, because otherwise it could have a very negative impact on overall chrome mining.
That was Mzila Mthenjane, CEO of the Minerals Council SA. That's where I leave things with you tonight. Be sure to catch the close